What's up, Scrappy peeps? It's Adele from Inkie Quill, and today I'm up with I think this is an 8.5 by 11 or 9 by 12 layout for you using bits and bobs from my stash. 2018, I'm really trying to figure out what of my supplies I actually use, what I don't use, and trying to use up some of my stash, because really it's not worth having these beautiful papers that we love so very much just hanging around in our stash. You might as well use them up, pop them on a layout so that you can enjoy them even more for longer. Because what I've been finding is that I've been saving up a lot of like pretty stickers or papers and trying to wait until I have the perfect layout to do them. But then I go back to them in like a year and a half, 2 years, and I don't actually like them as much anymore, and I don't want to use them. So my challenge for you guys is to pick some of your favorite supplies and actually use them and get them done. It doesn't matter if you run out of it forever. You've used it and it's there in your memories, and you've actually achieved something with it instead of hoarding it forever, which I am extremely guilty of. So I'm going through the Flourish 12 by 12 paper pad by Crepe Paper. This is one that the normal Adele would have hoarded for a very long time, especially with these florals. There's just so many florals in this new collection. A lot of them are quite green though, and a lot of them are big. I don't know what's happened to crepe paper, but they seem to have supersized everything. I miss having little patterns on their pattern paper. I really do miss it. So I'm trying to use it up, and I've stuck my two 4x6 photos together to treat it like a giant photo. And this is a technique that I often do with these 8.5 by 11 or 9 by 12 inch layouts, just because you don't have as much room to play with as traditional 12 by 12s. And if you're using multiple large photos, there's not as many options as to where you can place them. So I added a little bit of tissue paper there because I love my tissue paper very much. And now I'm just adding a big long strip of this floral on the side. When I do my paper layers, I always start off with a few that are the same size as the photo, so just a little bit bigger on all the sides evenly, and then I just kind of play with it. I really am a fan of a long vertical strip. I think it just draws the eye down the layout, especially when you're playing with this rectangular composition. It does. If you try this size layout for the first time and you've been a traditional 12 by 12er for a while, you do feel very clunky. I think that's the best word to describe it. And I now feel that way when I go back to 12 by 12s, because figuring out a composition for a rectangle layout is very different to a square layout, because your eye follows the page in a different way. So if you are going to try this size, my advice for you is don't give up after the first one. Trust me, don't give up. It takes a couple to get back into the swing of it, or to get used to a new design, especially also with the 6 by 12 layouts that I sometimes do. They do kind of throw you a bit. You don't realize until you're in the depth of it. So I'm just adding all different sorts of paper layers here, and a lot of people ask about my double-sided tape. I just get a cheap one from Spotlight here in Australia. I don't know what brand it is. It's just their generic, like, cheap one. And I use quite a lot of tape. I get messages about how much tape I use, and I try to comment on it in a lot of videos because I get a lot of messages about it. But I live in rental houses, and here in Australia they are often quite damp with mold issues, and I've had issues in the past with things falling off my layouts because I only use 1 or 2 bits of tape. So I'd much rather use a few extra bits of tape and have things actually stay there for more than a week. Because once I did a layout and it was beautiful, everything was stuck on, it was lovely, and I put it in the album, and I put the album on the shelf. I went back to it a week later, and literally almost everything had fallen off. And it's the same brand of tape that I use now. So it wasn't the brand of tape, it was just the the wetness of the house that I used to live in. So here I'm digging through and finding some embellishments. These two pieces, the little wreath and this card that I'm cutting up, are actually from my Inkie Quill Patreon. If you're interested, the link is always in the description below. And every month I do a set of Project Life cards, as well as a collage sheet, as well as an art print, as well as some other sort of printable. So the wreath is from the January printables, and the U is from a pocket page card. I'm just adding some puffy hearts here, and then I kind of needed something chunky, like something 3D-y, if that's a word, just to kind of contrast to the flatness of that big label, which I'm going to put my journaling in a little moment. I need to fussy cut some more of these because I'm using them like there's no tomorrow. I've gone through a lot of them. So something terrible happened. I ran out of white cardstock, so I had to get some more, both the marshmallow and also my printing cardstock, because I print all of these printables on, I think it's 200 GSM. It's a really nice smooth cardstock, and it's nice and easy to cut out. So now I'm adding one of my little DIY embellishments that I had tucked away in a pocket. I have this little plastic bag, I guess you'd call it, a zipper pouch, and I keep pre-made DIY embellishments that I've made in there. I have quite a few videos over on Patreon making those, and they're just really handy just to stick and plonk on your layout. I need to make some more, actually. I might do that next week. And I had my hot glue gun out from a previous project that I filmed this same day, and I was like, why not? Let's hot glue gun this baby on. And I did a really bad job because it doesn't look like it, but this is sped up quite a bit, and it doesn't look like I waited long to put it down, but I did. And so I had to add a little bit more hot glue. Hot glue gun is not archival safe, but in all honesty, I was talking to a couple of scrapbook companies not too long ago, and there's not a lot in the scrapbook companies now that are archival safe, just because of manufacturing and being able to get it done cheap overseas. It's not as archival as it once was. So I just stuck down that one, and the hot glue kind of gives it a bit of depth, and I really like that for the leaves on that U. Adding a few more puffy hearts because I can't get enough puffy hearts. If anyone knows where I can get these puffy hearts online, I found this pack in Riot. My friend actually found it and saw the look on my face and at how I must have been practically drooling as she found it, and she let me buy it. So I was very excited. Thanks, Neat. And so I have this one pack there, the Sticko brand, which in Australia, do we have that anywhere? Let me know if you know. So I wanted to add a title, and I had planned from the start to have my title going up this left-hand side, but I had no clue what to put. And I always go for my I have a few sets of go-to alphas, and I found these ones in my stash. I think they're a Dear Lizzie word one, and this just says Our Crew. It looks a bit hard to read sideways, but it does read Our Crew. The U is huge in Our, which kind of makes it a little bit harder to read, but it works. And the reason why I wanted to do a black title is to go with the black of the heart and the black of the wreath, because otherwise without it they might look like they don't quite belong. I always like to have 3 hits. If there's a bold colour in my layout, I like to have 3 hits of it on the page, so that 3 is just a nice number. It just seems to go well together. It's my favourite number. It's my lucky number because I'm born on the 3rd of the 3rd, and it just seems to work. Odd numbers work well in scrapbooking. So if you're ever stuck and you think something's missing, check if you've got 3 of something, either like 3 little things in a cluster or 3 little anythings. So here I added this little bit of washi that I found had fallen under my desk, and I didn't realise till I'd moved my desk, but it's the skinniest, most beautiful little kisses and hugs in gold foil that I ever did see. I think it could be an American Crafts one in a pack that I got, or a Freckled Fawn. I'm not quite sure, but it has totally lost its stick, so I did have to use a glue stick to stick that down. Adding a few little tiny words, because I can't get enough tiny words on a page ever. These are some fun ones from Flutterby Designs that I love. I love the font of them, and they're nice and small. I find that sometimes the tiny words get too big, and then it becomes more of a big embellishment rather than just a little short, little sharp something. Adding a doodly border, because I find it hard to do anything without a doodly border now. I wonder when I will come out of my doodly border phase. You know how, like, not comparing myself to artists, but you know how artists have like their phases, like Picasso, didn't he go through like a blue phase or something? I learned about that in high school. Or Da Vinci was one of them, went through a phase of something. I'm definitely in the doodly border phase, or just the doodly phase, really. That sounds wrong, but I'm in that mode, and everything just has to have a doodly border. Otherwise it just doesn't look finished to me. Here I've got some roller stamps, and I do get a lot of questions about why my roller stamps have numbers on them. I have a video from, I think it's an Inkie June marathon from 2 years ago, where I do a video every day in June. Don't get excited, peeps. I'm not doing it this year. I just can't with Archie. It's just too hard. But if you search on YouTube for Inkie Quill roller stamps or rotary stamps, then it will come up and it will show my method to storing them and why they have numbers on them. So I'm just adding a little bit of stamping down here. These are old October afternoon roller stamps. Shake, 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 shake your high shine, shake your high shine. Shout out to all of the people who whose spouses have to listen to me sing that song all of the time, because I know there's been a couple of ladies that have messaged me about their husbands have started singing the Shake Shake song. So shout out to you guys that have to endure my terrible singing when you don't even want to watch the video. This is for you guys. This video is for you. Adding a bit of hide shine here and there, and the layout is all done. So thanks so much for watching today, guys, and I really enjoyed doing this one. It's nice to do one without mixed media every once in a while. And if you'd like any more information on my Patreon, the link's always in the description below, and there's a video that shows what it is and why it is and how it is and all of that. And I will see you guys very, very soon. I really need to make some more embellishments. I think that might be this afternoon's activity while Archie's playing, and I might be able to get away without him stealing them. We'll see how we go. All right, guys, bye.